Today, we're speaking with someone who saved more lives than any doctor, funded more research than any government, and buried more bodies than any warlord. You know him, though you've never seen his face. He's in your medicine cabinet, in your bloodstream. He is not a company. He is a system. Please welcome Big Pharma. First question, let's rewind to the 1990s. You pushed OxyContin like it was a miracle, told doctors it wasn't addictive, told the public it was safe. You lobbied regulators, bought off scientists, and flooded the market with false hope in pill form. Then came the overdoses, the ruined families, the mass graves, and still you kept selling. So tell me, was that just a tragic oversight, or was addiction the product, and death just a side effect you could afford?
Addiction? Addiction is a market segment. People were in pain, chronic, unbearable pain, and we gave them relief. Doctors begged for options. Patients demanded help. We delivered. Did some people misuse the product? Absolutely. But you don't sue the bartender when someone drinks too much. You don't blame the car company for a crash. How many lives did we save before the first overdose hit the news? How many jobs did we create? How many pain-free days did we give people who had nothing else? You call it a tragedy. I call it scale. And scale always comes with casualties.
Spare me the crocodile tears. You didn't just hand out medicine. You flooded the most vulnerable communities with it. You targeted the addicts. You trained the doctors. You lowered the bar for prescriptions so far. People were getting oxy for a sore back or a stub toe, and you made damn sure those doctors got paid to keep writing. You weren't trying to treat pain. You were manufacturing dependency and calling it care, because you knew a hooked customer is a loyal customer, and the sicker they got, the richer you became.
Of course, we maximize distribution. That's what any responsible corporation does with a successful product. Demand was high. Supply met it. That's the system working. And yes, we educated doctors. We gave them incentives, resources, research. You call it bribery. I call it outreach. As for addiction, let's be honest. Some people were always going to fall through the cracks. But you don't dismantle an entire industry because a few couldn't handle their medication. Let me ask you something. When the pain stops, even just for a little while, do you really care why it stopped? Or do you just want it to stop again?
Once the money started pouring in, you didn't stop at doctors' offices. You bought the airwaves. Every commercial break, every magazine page, every billboard, it was you. 1,000 drugs for 1,000 symptoms, each with side effects worse than the disease they supposedly treat. Ask your doctor if this is right for you. You turned patients into customers, and doctors into drug dealers with stethoscopes. And now, we're not a nation of people trying to be healthy. We're a nation trained to think we're broken. So we'll keep buying the fix. How does it feel to replace care with consumerism and still call it medicine?
You say I bought the airwaves. I say I informed the public. People deserve to know their options, and I gave them choices. Freedom, right? And that phrase, ask your doctor if it's right for you, that was genius. It empowered the patient, drove engagement, boosted awareness. And yes, it moved product. Doctors don't like being told what to do, but they do like satisfied patients. So when someone walks in already convinced they need help, the doctor listens. That's not manipulation. That's demand creation. That's good marketing. And about those side effects. Every medication has trade-offs. But I gave people something the illness never could. A choice. Even if it costs them a little more, even if it hurts in the end. People would rather take a pill than take responsibility.
You got your hands in everything now. But the real trick wasn't just pushing product. It was rigging the rules. You captured the FDA, stacked it with your own people, turned watchdogs into lapdogs. And every time someone discovers a real cure, something that ends disease instead of managing it, they either vanish from the conversation or get bought out, buried, or destroyed. Because let's be honest, a cured patient stops paying. But a sick one, a chronically ill, lifelong customer, that's revenue. That's quarterly growth. That's the business model. So tell me, when did healthcare become a code word for profit preservation?
You're right. A cured patient doesn't come back. They don't refill prescriptions. They don't schedule follow-ups. They stop paying. But a managed patient? That's stability. Predictability. Profit. You call it corruption. I call it efficiency. Why gamble billions chasing a cure when symptom management guarantees returns forever? You think investors care about miracles? They care about margins. And the regulators? They're not captured. They're partnered. Because they understand what this is, not a charity, but a business. And business doesn't reward solutions. It rewards subscriptions.
It's not just about keeping people sick anymore. It's about keeping them scared. You've mastered the R crisis, turning every outbreak, every mutation, every headline into a marketing campaign. You lock down the world, flood the media with panic, then roll out the solution with a smile, patented, expensive, and rush through approval by the regulators you already own. And if anyone questions it, doctors, scientists, journalists, you censor them, discredit them, deplatform them. You don't just sell pills anymore. You sell fear. Fear of death, fear of disease, fear of being left out if you don't comply. So let me ask you this. Do you cure disease, or do you manufacture consent?
Fear is a tool. And like any tool, it's only dangerous in unskilled hands. During a crisis, people want certainty. They want answers. They want someone to blame, and someone to save them. I just happen to be both. Yes, we move fast. Yes, we push products. Because in the chaos of uncertainty, speed sells. And when the world is afraid, the one who calms the fear controls the future. And as for silencing critics, of course we do. Not because they're always wrong, but because doubt is expensive. Confusion kills compliance. And compliance is how you save lives and control markets. You call it manipulation. I call it public health strategy. The herd moves when it's scared. I just make sure they move in the right direction.
You didn't just target the sick. You went after the wounded. The men and women who came back from war shattered in mind and body, begging for help, for healing, for something real. And what did you give them? Klonopin, Prozac, Seroquel, a chemical cocktail you called treatment, handed out like candy in every VA clinic. You said it would stop the suicides. But you knew damn well one of the top side effects was suicidal thoughts. You were throwing gasoline on a fire and calling it medicine. But maybe that was the point. A dead veteran doesn't file claims, doesn't drain the system, doesn't cost the government a cent. And you still get paid right up until the last dose. So tell me, was it about helping them heal or helping them disappear?
Do you know what a veteran costs? Lifetime medical care, disability benefits, PTSD counseling, housing programs. That's not compassion. That's liability. You talk like I'm the villain. But I didn't build the system. I just made it efficient. You want to keep soldiers alive after the war? Then invest in healing, not paperwork. But that's not what they did. They hired me. And Klonopin? It's cheap. Easy to manufacture. Keeps things quiet. A dead veteran doesn't sue. Doesn't relapse. Doesn't drain resources. You say I let them die. I say I close the loop.
You've wrapped yourself in lab coats and legal teams. You speak the language of science, but you deal in suffering. You don't heal, you harvest. Pain is your product. Dependency is your goal. And death, well, death is just good for margins. You don't cure disease. You monetize it. And somehow you sleep at night. That's all for now. Our guest today was the most profitable killer in modern history. We simply called him Big Pharma. Thank you for watching, like, and subscribe for more.